Hi everyone, this is the Necromancer Blood Surge build guide for Season 6. I'm going to discuss the mechanics, skills, aspects, affixes, skill tree, and the Paragon board. The main skill of this build is the Blood Surge, and this deals overpower damage and overpower crit damage, and the overpower is scaling with our life, so the more life that we have, the more overpower damage that we will deal. So the way the Blood Surge works is it heals us and it increases its damage based on the number of enemies that it drains. So this skill will fall off when dealing with single target. This is where the crewers embrace unique gloves, wherein it gives an additional drain from the elites, which also applied for the bosses. This will give us a fixed amount of drain for every cast. That way it will increase our multiplier damage during single target combat. And this also consumes corpse, and the corpse will also cast mini novas, and it will also scale based on the number of enemies that we drain. So therefore, the Blood Surge is very effective on consuming corpse. However, with regards to overpower damage, we are also utilizing the Ratmas Vigor K passive, which we will have a guarantee overpower upon reaching 12 stacks. In comparison with the Bloodlands has an aspect that automatically consumes blood orbs. For the Blood Surge, it doesn't have any aspects or utility to consume blood orbs. Therefore, we'll be picking up the blood orbs manually. Since we are also using our blood orbs to gain stacks for our guaranteed overpower through the Ratmas Vigor, we are also using the aspect called the Embalmer, wherein when we consume corpse, we spawn a blood orb. Now let's discuss the skills. We are using Blood Surge as our main damage dealer as we do overpower damage. We use Hemorrhage just in case we run out of essence. Blood Surge has a very high essence cost. Therefore, we need to sustain our essence so that we can cast the Blood Surge all the time. So we are using Soul Rift so that it will help us on gaining essence, barrier, multiplier damage, and vulnerability. Now, to sustain the essence in order to cast the Blood Surge all the time, we can add essence per second on our boots, essence per second also on the chest armor, and essence per second also on the helm. Especially when you are using the Great Feast aspect, this will also drain 7 essence per second. That is why Soul Rift is so important also in this build, so that we can gain essence, especially during single combat. Another way to help us on gaining essence is with the help of at least one lucky hit chance to restore primary resource is already enough. And Abhorrent Decrepify for the cooldown reduction when we lucky hit. Now let's move to the aspects that we are using for this build. So we're using Curse Aura, Embalmer, Metamorphosis, Great Feast, Blood Bath. And the Blood Bath is casting another Blood Surge Nova that deals 15% less damage. Then we have Conceited, and then we are using Sacrificial, we're using the Crewer's Embrace, Blood Moon Breaches, and the Banished Lord Talisman. On this setup, it's still gonna be efficient with regards to farming like Nightmare Dungeons, Hell Tides, Undercity, or Inferno Horde. However, this setup is going to struggle a bit, especially on single target. Now, there is another way in order to really sustain the Soul Rift most of the time, and this is with the help of this unique helm. This helm is intended for the Soul Rift. However, this is also somehow this helmet is also useful with our build. Even though this is for the Soul Rift increased damage, we are getting the benefit of this resource generation and the Imperfectly Balanced. Imperfectly Balanced is a passive skill of the Necromancer wherein we're gaining 3% more essence, but we deal 5% increased damage. Even though we are increasing our essence, we can sustain, plus since Blood Surge is a high essence spender, one of the unique skill of the Unmaker is increases the Soul Rift duration by 0.5 to 8 seconds for every 30 essence that we spend. Basically, with this setup, we can sustain the Soul Rift and we are not running out of essence, especially with the help of this lucky hit chance on restore. Without this lucky hit, we will still be struggle a bit on the essence generation. So if you have this lucky hit with the Unmaker, then you're good to go. And now let's discuss with the affixes and tempering affixes. If you don't have the Unmaker, so on the helmet, focus on life, essence per second. You can also find for cooldown reduction or intelligence. For the tempering affix, life and soul rift duration. For the armor, life, intelligence, and essence per second. For the tempering affix, life and soul rift duration. For the boots, life, intelligence, and movement speed. If you're still struggling with essence, you can find with life, and then roll for essence per second and then movement speed. And look for the attack reduce evade cooldown by 1.5 seconds, so that you can cast the metamorphosis most of the time. And then for the tempering affix, movement speed and soul rift duration. And for the weapon, we use mace with overpowered damage, and then life, intelligence, lucky hit chance to restore primary resource. For the offhand, life, critical strike chance, and cooldown reduction. For the jewelry, for both rings, life, attack speed, and crit chance. For the weapon tempering affix, so we use blood attack speed, chance for blood surge to deal double damage, same as the offhand. For the jewelries, ultimate cooldown reduction, blood attack speed. And then for the unique items that we're using for this build is the Banished Lord Talisman, Crewer's Embrace, and the Blood Moon's Breaches. For the rune words, we're using Sar Rune and Seer Rune for our ritual. Gar Rune for the increased critical strike chance in pair with Tam Rune. If you don't have this, then you can use Moni also. And then, if you have the Air of Perdition here, you can now drop the Gar Rune and use the Om Rune instead. If you don't have the Om Rune, you can also use the Zek Rune to reduce the ultimate cooldown by 2 seconds if you find you're struggling with keep sustaining your soul rift. Then let's discuss the Book of the Dead, the Skeleton Warriors. We're sacrificing the Skirmishers for the critical strike chance, Skeletal Mages for the overpower damage, Golem to increase our life. And then to our skill tree, 2 points on the Hemorrhage, Feed Flesh. We need this so that we can produce more corpse, and perfectly balanced, 5 points on Blood Surge, and then Paranormal Blood Surge. Necrotic Fortitude, Titan's Fall, Grim Harvest, Fueled by Death, Death's Embrace, Death's Approach, Precision Decay. By the way, this Grim Harvest and Fueled by Death, this will benefit as we always consume most of the time through the Crewer's Embrace. So we're getting 6 essence for every corpse that we consume, and we are also getting 9% increased damage every time that we consume corpse. And then we're using Abhorrent Decrepify, Amplify Damage, Coalesced Blood, Tides of Blood, Necrotic Carapace, and then Standalone, Memento Mori, Inspiring Leader. This will give us a 12% critical strike chance, and then 5 points to Soul Rift, Supreme, and Prime. And then to our key passive, we're using Ratmas Vigor. For our Mercenary, we're using Rahir for the Ground Slam, increased resistance, Bastion, and gaining increased damage when he casts Ground Slam and or the Bastion. For the Paragon board, we're using Sacrificial on our starting board, Amplify, Bloodbath. On the third board, Blood Begets Blood, Essence. Fourth board, Frailty, Dominate. And then on our last board, Flesh Eater, Corporeal. So this setup is good for all kinds of gameplay that you need, from Hell Tides, Infernal Hordes, Undercity Kuras, or Nightmare Dungeons. This can also farm tormented bosses. Just please take note, when you are farming Andariel, you will struggle on killing her statues. So in order to kill her statues, you need to find rings with you can sacrifice the critical strike chance with resource cost reduction on 2 rings and on the offhand. And then you can use the potion of the resourcefulness. It's because the statue of Andariel, those are considered as a single enemy. They are not considered elites. Therefore, the Soul Rift is considering them as a single target. But the rest of the tormented bosses, with the setup without the resource cost reduction, you should be good to go. Now, you can still further improve this build by using powerful mythic uniques. So if you have the Ring of the Starry Skies, then you can replace Conceited. For the offhand, You can use Doombringer, and then on the helm, you can drop the Unmaker and replace this with the Air of Perdition. If you have the Harlequin Crest, that is also good because it has life and cooldown reduction and plus ranks on your skill. So, alright, hope you find this build helpful and hope you have fun with playing this Blood Surge build, and I'll be posting the build guide and my Twitch channel on the description box below. And if you have any questions, feel free to put it on the comment section. If you have the chance, please drop by on my Twitch channel when I go live. And again, thank you very much for watching and have a good one. Bye!